Oh yeah, and it's me, Joseph. We're gonna do we're gonna build on the last experiment that we had, and the last experiment was for world building via first person point of view. And we're still listening to Mingus. Susan has left the room, so we don't have to worry about her head spinning. But it was interesting. I want to talk about how to read as an author, because that to me is such a crucial skill. And I've been taking writing classes since before most of you were born, okay? Since the 1970s. And one of the things that everyone says, every class, every teacher says is read, read, read. You have to read, read, read everything. Well, I was reading everything. I was reading cereal boxes. I was reading milk cartons. I was reading pressures on the sides of tires. Newspapers, magazines, books. The one thing that they failed to teach me, to explain to me, to demonstrate for me, was how to read as an author. Because reading, sorry, is not enough. Reading is a great thing, yes. And some people are fortunate enough to be able to absorb purely by reading, and it works, and they've got that ability, and they can just begin hammering out. Most people I know don't. I didn't. And I do not remember exactly when something happened, some kind of trigger, probably from some book on writing that I was reading at the time. I'm going to guess and say it was Rita Mae Brown, because she's really good. If you haven't read Rita Mae Brown's books on writing, go out and get them. Starting from Scratch is an excellent one. Anyway, they were not telling me how to read as an author. And when you read as an author, you're reading with a very different set of muscles, if you will. Because instead of reading, you read and you go, wow, you are aware of what you're responding to, of how you respond to what you're reading. That's a crucial thing. That is a key thing. So we're going to go back to something I used last time, which was, A Pail of Air by Fritz Leiber. Pa had sent me out to get an extra pail of air. I just about scooped it full, and most of the warmth had leaked from my fingers when I saw the thing. You know, at first I thought it was a young lady. Yes, a beautiful young lady's face, all glowing in the dark, and looking at me from the 5th floor of the opposite apartment, which hereabouts is the floor just above the white blanket of frozen air. I'd never seen a live young lady before, except in the old magazines. Sis is just a kid, and Ma is pretty sick and miserable. And it gave me such a start that I dropped the pail. Who wouldn't, knowing everyone on earth was dead except Pa and Ma and Sis and you? Every time I read that, and it's been, couldn't count how many times I've read this story, because I learned something new each time. To me, it's like playing Bach. It's like playing the Prelude in C or the one of the two-part inventions. Every time I play it, and I've been playing them since I was a young teenager, I learned something new. I learned something new here. Now, at some point I was reading this story because I knew it was really good, and I said, why do I feel cold? Originally it was, I would say to people, I felt a chill reading the story. Why did I feel the chill? How had Fritz Leiber constructed his work so that I, the reader, felt cold reading it, because that's what this character is experiencing, and he wants me to share the experience of the cold. So Pa had sent me out to get an extra pail of air. I just about scooped it full, and most of the warmth had leaked from my fingers. There's a lot going on in the beginning of the story which indicates cold. And that is so repeated, not as boom, 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 but as matter of fact. It's cold. It's frozen. Everything's dark. Who wouldn't, knowing everyone on earth is dead? So that repeated emphasis as matter of fact is what made me feel cold, what makes this story stand out, and makes it incredible, because reading it as an author, I now can understand what he did, and I can use it in my own work. Okay. Um, Here's another one. This is from Murray Leinster's Expedition. Hang on a second. Just make sure. Expedition Team by Murray Leinster. Another phenomenal piece of writing. The nearer moon went by overhead. It was jagged and irregular in shape. It was probably a captured asteroid. Huygens had seen it often enough, so he did not go out of his quarters to watch it hurtle across the sky with seemingly the speed of an atmospheric flyer, occulting the stars as it went. Instead, he sweated over paperwork, which should have been odd because he was technically a felon and all his labors on Lauren too felonious. It was odd, too, for a man to do paperwork in a room with steel shutters and a huge bald eagle untethered dozing on a 3-inch perch set in the wall. But paperwork was not Huygens' real task. His only assistant had tangled with the night walker, and the furtive Kodiak Company ships had taken him away to where Kodiak Company ships came from. Huygens had to do 2 men's work in loneliness. To his knowledge, he was the only man in the solar system. Read that as an author. He is alone on the planet, but he's been on this planet so long that all of the atmospheric wonders, all of the stellar wonders, the moon flying overhead, it doesn't do anything for him anymore. It's like, okay, fine, yeah. We may look at the moon on a beautiful night and go, wow, that really is beautiful. But otherwise, most people don't really pay attention to it. So by detailing these things as matter of fact, they're just in this person's, in Huygens' world, in his environment, we are being told so much about the world, going back to this isn't first person point of view, but going back to world building. And we're told he's a felon, he's felonious, he's on Lauren too, he's on a foreign world. Wow, this is fascinating. All this information, his only partner right now in this cabin is an untethered eagle. A huge bald eagle, but he's on an alien world. So the eagle was brought with him. And there's some kind of creature, a night walker, that took out his partner, and Kodiak Company ships. Interesting name, but it's a hint. It's an interesting hint because I won't tell you who the other non-human but earthbound, earth creatures are that are with him. But if you can't get Kodiak, why are you paying attention? You're not paying attention. Wow. So again, read it as an author, which means, what am I learning here? How does he do this? How are these words put together so that they have meaning to me, so that they conjure up images in my mind, so they give me sensory information that my body responds to, the cold or the loneliness, or the only partner I have right now is a bald eagle. Reading as an author is, I think, a key ability. It gives you doing it over time, it gives you the ability to read just about anything. And as you're reading it for enjoyment, also being able to understand and appreciate the craft that went into it. And if you don't recognize by now how much I harp on craft, craft is very essential to me. I work at it. I'm a very crafty person. Anyway, pay attention to how you respond, what goes on in your mind, how you see things. The late great A.J. Budrus, who was one of my great mentors, I sent him a novel, one of the first novel, The Augmented Man. And I thought for sure I was, yeah, right, kid. But he got back to me with a very short letter, because back then that's what you did. You did mail, not email. I'm old gray. And he wrote, I can see everything. I had done it. I had taken what was in my mind, put it on paper in such a way that someone else had the sensations I wanted them to have. Okay? That's craft. Read as an author so you can learn how other authors do it. Read stuff that sucks so you can learn how not to do it. You can catch yourself. I do that a lot. I will be writing, and all of a sudden I go, wait, no, hold. That's my onboard editor, if you will. We can have an experiment about that if you'd like. But a lot of it is about how do you convey information to the reader so that they have the experiences you want them to have, so they are in your world with you, with the characters. Read as an author. Don't leave home without it. Yes, I'm going to look for the off button now. Helps if I'm actually on a Zoom page here. Right? There we are. Doodles.